Hello and welcome to the Critically Kudos. I'm the Monk, and today we are in Empire of Sin and we are doing a ranked list of every single unique weapon you can get from the bosses in this game. And remember, if you're enjoying this video, if you enjoy it, find it entertaining, don't forget to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It means so much to us. So let's get stuck in. First up, an absolute back of the bus. We have a melee weapon. It is called the Silencer. It only does 24 to 25 damage. Even on a crit damage, it only does 2 extra damage. It does 2 armor damage, but it only has a 25% chance to inflict slow and a 25% chance to inflict bleed. I'm not going to say this is an absolutely trash weapon. Honestly, any of these unique weapons are good. You know, I would take them over not having a unique weapon. But for me, this is definitely back of the bus. Next up, we have Stephanie Sinclair. Now, she actually has a melee weapon called the Number Cruncher. Interesting thing, this is actually Salt's melee weapon as well. I don't know why he get the short end of the stick here, but, you know, he does not have a unique weapon apparently, because here it is with Stephanie as well. Now, the Number Cruncher is a melee weapon. It does 39 to 44 standard damage with 49 to 56 crit damage, which is pretty good. Now, it has a 50% chance to hit that crit and a 75% chance to inflict stun. Now, these kind of abilities are really good, especially it's got the 60% chance to hit that knockback as well. I really like these extra little abilities that the unique weapons have. It definitely makes them worthwhile hunting them down if you can get hold of them. Next up, we have the Snake Tooth. I was going to say Shark Tooth then, but it's definitely Snake Tooth. It has 30 to 32 damage with a 40 to 43 crit damage. That's actually quite a big jump. 50% chance to hit that crit, which is kind of standard at this point. It does a 25% chance to inflict slow, but a 100% chance to inflict bleed. Bleed is really good in this game. You can get some good damage from bleed, and this little baby is definitely worth checking out as well. But for me, probably the best melee weapon out of all of them belongs to Mabel, and that is the Widowmaker. Now, the Widowmaker does only 27 to 30 damage, and only 1 more extra damage for that crit hit. Yes, it has a 50% chance to deal crit damage as well, but what it does have is a 100% chance to inflict poison and a 100% chance to inflict bleed. That combo right there is going to be absolutely devastating. Next up is Goldie's pistol. Now, this little number has 29 to 33 damage, only 1 more for crit, only a 30% crit chance. It has a clip size of 6, and it has a plus over 9 reach, as in distance that it can actually attack, of 9. Now, the reason I believe these are better than the melee weapons is obviously you can fire them twice. You can also fire them from range, meaning you're, you know, in cover. I think that range weapons in this game at the moment, the way things are balanced, are better than melee weapons. That's why I've put this above the other weapons. It doesn't have much, you know, many fancy things about it, but I still think it's probably better than a melee weapon. And this is back of the bus for all you know, projectile weapons, simply because it only has that 6 clip size, which really isn't much at all. Next up, we have the Blood Fury. It has 26 to 29 damage. Nothing extra for a crit damage with a 25% chance to hit that crit damage. It seems a bit pointless to me. It has a clip size of 8. The good thing about this, it actually has a 25% chance to inflict bleed. Now, obviously, you are firing 2 shots at a time, so, you know, it kind of puts it up a little bit. It's a nice extra touch. It pops it, obviously, above the last. Now, in my opinion, Frank Reagan, he has the best secondary weapon, unique weapon, actually, in the game. It's called the Reagen's Rage. Now his bonuses read a little bit weird. Apparently there is 25% chance to crit, a 20% chance to crit, and a 20 plus 20 crit damage. Now, I'm not sure what all that is about, but it sounds OP as hell. I don't know if it's glitched or just bad typing, but basically the damage is 27 to 31. Has 1 extra on the crit damage and only 25% chance to actually hit a crit, but it has 10 in the clip, which is massive. And right at the bottom there, I don't know if you saw it, but it has a 50% chance to ignore opponent's armor. That little perk there makes this gun worth having. Next up, we have our first main weapon. It is called Little Hell, and it is a shotgun. It does a massive 52 to 65 damage. Now, obviously, you actually have to be close range with this thing. You know, it has a little tiny bit extra for the crit damage and only a 5% chance to actually hit that crit. So it probably isn't going to hit the crit. It does, however, have a 25% chance to hit a knockback, as a bigger cone of angle, and you also have an extra 5% chance. I don't know why it's so low, but 5% chance to hit and inflict a stun. I think that should be upped quite massively, to be honest with you. This is where it is mainly because of its damage output. I guess you do have those very small chances to actually hit those bonuses there. Next up, and sitting comfortably in the middle of the pack, we have the Brooklyn Handshake. It is a machine gun. It deals 32 to 39 damage, 1 extra up on crit damage, only a 5% chance to actually hit that crit. And you also have a 25% chance to inflict bleed. Now, obviously, this is a burst fire weapon, a clip size of 20. This is a pretty good gun. You know, it's going to deal some good damage, and don't forget that percent chance of hitting is per bullet. Also, that is per bullet for that damage as well. So again, this machine gun could be devastating if you actually get to land those shots. Next up, we have the Sicilian Kiss for a 36 to 42 damage. You get a 15% chance to actually hit the crit, and it has a 50% knock enemies back as well, which I think is actually pretty good, 50%. And this also has 40 in the mag as well, so you know, you're not going to have to reload as much, unlike the last one. Next up, we have a sniper rifle, the Sonoran Goodbye. It does a 76 to 84 basic damage, going all the way up to 91 on that critical damage. You get a 30% chance to actually hit that crit, but it also has a 10% chance to knock opponent out. Now, knocking opponent out is absolutely great, but it's only 10%. It does, however, get an extra 2 armor damage. For me, I think that's pretty good. Obviously, there's 10 shots, single shot fire. You're probably not going to have to reload during, a round of combat. I think this is a very good gun. I would like to see that knock opponent out a little bit higher, maybe say 30%. That would make it just that much better. But yeah, good solid gun. So now we're on to Daniel Jackson's unique weapon. He has the Gravedigger. It's a submachine gun with 25 in a clip. It does 31 to 42 damage, only a little bit more on crit, 15% chance to actually hit the crit. Now, what this has is a 100% chance to inflict bleed. For me, that right there ramps this gun right up. Because although it's a submachine gun, maybe I would put that behind a sniper rifle in general. But that 100% chance to bleed, inflict bleed, on this is just so good. Bleed is a great bonus to have on any weapon. Next up, we have another sniper rifle, the French Mistake. It does 80 to 85 damage with 86 to 94 on crit damage, with a 40% chance to actually hit a crit damage. That's quite massive, really. Only has 5 in the mag, but should be enough to get you through a round. And it gives you +2 on movement. It also does 25% chance to inflict slow. Again, if you ask me, this is a very good sniper rifle. If you have a chance to pick it up in your playthrough, I definitely would give it a go. I'd give it to, you know, whoever has the best marksman in your crew. Now, in at number 3, we have Frank Donovan. Now, he has a little number called the American Wake. It is a rifle. We all know my favourite weapons in this game are rifles. I do believe they're completely overpowered, as they only require 1 AP to actually use. This rifle only has 5 in the clip. It does 83 to 89 damage, with a little bit more on the old crit damage, with a 35% chance, which is pretty respectable to actually hit that crit. Now, it does a 25% chance to inflict poison and a 25% chance to inflict slow. Now, obviously, they are dice rolls, you know, separate from one another. It also gives a massive plus 20 on marksmanship, meaning whoever you give this gun to is going to be able to use it. That little perk there makes this gun absolutely amazing. Now, in second, we have another rifle, not sniper rifle. We have another rifle called the Deceiver. It does 91 to 95 damage, with 94 to 98 damage being its crit, and a 30% chance to actually hit that crit. Only has 5 shots in the mag, but that again should be enough unless you're using kill chain to actually get you through. It has a 50% chance to hit that knockback and a 25% chance to inflict bleed. Again, this gun is absolutely blinding. It does mean that Mabel probably isn't a character I'd actually use in a game as my boss. I'd maybe get her playthrough done early, just so that way she's actually in the game. That way you can actually get this unique weapon off her. Because remember, if you choose her as your hero, as your boss, you lose the ability to get that gun. And lastly, in first place, we have Maggie DYER Straights. Now, this does 87 to 95 damage and 89 to 99 crit damage. Has 30% chance to hit the crit. Now, what this does have, though, is a 75% chance to inflict poison as well. So not only is this potentially the highest damage output weapon in the game, it also has a bonus to inflict upon the target. So, you know, if they do actually survive the shot, are they gonna get poisoned? Are they gonna survive that? Doubtful. But again, for me, this probably means that Maggie isn't someone that I would choose to be my boss, because I most definitely want this rifle in my game. Like I said, guys, you know, rifles are the most OP weapon in the game right now. Well, guys, that's it from me, and that's it from my list. Don't forget, though, some gangsters do have some pretty unique weapons as well in their own right, and are pretty good. This was only a rundown of the boss's weapons, of the, you know, unique weapons you can actually get from trading in this game. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. And don't forget to pop your thoughts down below as well. I love to hear them. Out of all these weapons, what's your favorite? What's your go-to? What's the one weapon you would always trade off the bosses and use in your play? You know, let me know. For me, it's got to be those 3 rifles. If I can get hold of them, I will always get those weapons. I've played as Daniel Jackson so much that I've actually missed out a chance on using his submachine gun as much as I'd like. After reviewing all these weapons, I think that was the most surprising weapon for me. Obviously, I had the least amount of experience in using that weapon. And so when I read out the stats and found out, you know, all those interesting things about that weapon, I was quite amazed. And, you know, it's a weapon that I would like to try and get. So anyway, I've been a Monk. We've been a Critically Clueless. Guys, I will see you in the next video real soon. I hope you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you in the next one.